Good day everyone and welcome to LKNPlays Minecraft. Hey guys, so welcome back, and as you can see, the first change is now I finally have watermelons. I was able to find some in the village that I have yet to show you guys. It's not in the, it wasn't actually at the village, but there was a forest right beside it and I found it there. So what have I done since our last video? Actually quite a lot, but it was all basically building and testing my potion brewing, automatic brewing system. So as you remember, I built this storage area and everything, and I said I was going to build it here, but as you can see quite clearly, it's not here. And the reason for that is I found it was too big and bulky to fit here, because I have my enchanting station up here, as well as my storage room behind this wall and this here. So I just decided it's too much of a headache to move stuff around. So I decided just not to build here. Instead, I built it right over here, right beside the storage area. And as you can see, it's still very dirty in terms of design. I haven't cleaned anything up, and that's because it's actually for two reasons. First of all, I want to actually show you what I built. So I want to show you the wiring and kind of how it looks. And second, I want to do the decorating and the kind of covering up of the wires on camera with you guys watching. So that will be the main thing we're doing today. So as you may remember, the brewing system, I originally wanted to make it so that I could create harming potions, splash potions, so I could use it in my zombie farm. One thing I found out while I was doing that, while I was building and doing the testing of this, is that instant damage or splash potion of harming, these potions do not affect zombies. I think I showed you one of them in the last video, and they didn't die, and I thought it was just a glitch. But after testing this on zombies, I kept on getting like no deaths, and I quickly referred and realized that zombies, because they're undead, they're technically the opposite of alive, and potion of harming only affects living animals, I guess. So since they're dead, instead of damaging them, it doesn't do anything, or maybe even heals them. So instead, you're supposed to use potion of healing, which I think I have somewhere here. I hope so. Actually, well, yeah, actually, I just started making potion of healing potion. So as you can see right here, instant help 2. So actually, once I figured that out, I had to make glistening melons. To do that, you need to take a watermelon and put gold nuggets around it in a crafting table. I'll show you that after. But basically, just take the gold ingot that you made and break it into nuggets and put that around. It's pretty simple. So let me start with the brewing stand. So first, I went for a 2 brewing stand design, just to increase the performance. I already had a bunch of blaze rods, so it wasn't too much, it wasn't too costly, and I had a lot of these left over, a lot of hoppers left over from the storage situation that we were working on. So I decided to go with the 2 design. So in this design, the first thing you could see is this chest here, and this is the chest that all the potions go into. This hopper picks up the items from this these brewing stands. So basically, just imagine this divided in half, and everything on this side is for this, and everything on this side is for this, with the exception of some of the wiring, which I'll show you and point out. But besides that, when I say something happens to this one, I mean if it happens to both of them. So the brewing stands are here, and if you look inside, this brewing is done also. So what happens is when I press this button right here, it sends 2 signals out. The first signal actually goes around here, through here, and it goes to right here. And what it does is it goes up to this higher block, and what it does is it powers these powers on and off the hopper. So while the power is lit, so basically while it's off, the power is on to these hoppers, which means this hopper is off, and that means it's not going to move the items from the brewing stand into this chest. And when this power is turned off, then the items are going to move through and into the chest. And when I press the button, that's what it's going to do. This signal also goes around and it comes through here, and I inverted it here. So let me actually go around and show you. By the way, when I was building this, I kind of ran out of room here as well, and I kind of got into my mushroom farm area, but it wasn't too damaging, so I think it'll be okay. So as you can see, the signal, this one goes to the bottom hoppers. This one is actually for the top hoppers, so it goes underneath here. I had to put some blocks here so that these two signals won't connect to each other. But it goes to this block, and as I showed you earlier, it on the other side, that block is used as a to invert the signal. So there's a torch on the side of the block, and behind is where the redstone comes in from. And this is a little timing setup that I made, because what I found out is that when power is applied, this fills in the, like, since there's 3 slots here, what the bottom hopper, when it loses the power, what happens is it takes out one, and then the next, and then the next. And the problem is, since this one also, the power if there isn't any power here, what happens is as soon as the first one goes out from here, an empty bottle from this fills this spot. And so basically, instead of removing these two, it'll just keep sending empty bottles into here. So what I decided to do was I had to turn this off. Like right now it's on, so if this brewing stand was empty, it would automatically fill up with these bottles. But because it's full, it's not filling up. So while this is being emptied, this shouldn't be filling in. So what I did was I created a small delayed timer here, and the reason I did it in this way is because it's the way I know that it's to do it the easiest. And so this signal goes through and into the top hopper and basically disabling the filling mechanism, and these other repeaters basically just extend the tick longer and longer so that it lasts for more ticks. And the length that you see here is the length that it takes for this to finish emptying and for it to close, just enough time so that the next when this opens, it only fills up the brewing stand and doesn't go all the way through. So basically the signal comes here, goes here, and then this one after 1 tick goes through, this one after 2 ticks goes, this one after 3, this one after 4, and this one after 5. So for a total of from 0 to 5 ticks long, this will be lit, meaning that this will not work for 5 ticks, whereas this, I believe, only runs for 4 ticks, which is the standard length of a button, I believe. So it does it much faster, and it'll be closed by the time it goes through. The second wire that you see here, I'm sorry if I'm moving slow. If anybody wants me to recreate this, I will do this in a creative world and show you exactly how to make it. But I think it should be pretty easy. There's no hidden wires besides the ones in the back that I showed you. So everything is out in the open, and that's why I didn't cover it up, just so I want to show you. So this signal comes up here, and it goes into 2 of these repeaters. This repeater goes into this block, and there's a repeater here facing that way, and this repeater goes into it this way. That's why it shows this line going through, showing that it's a locked repeater. And this is how I created a pulse. So basically, when a signal goes through here, when this turns off, what happens is it creates a pulse. Instead of sending the whole signal through, it creates a pulse going through, and that pulse is just extended through here, and it's sent into these repeaters that you see here, going into here. Sorry, I just realized a small problem. I think it's a problem. There should be a repeater here, actually. That's why. I could put one. All right. I'm surprised I didn't see any problems here. Maybe the block on the side is powering that one. So either way, so this just signal keeps going through, and let me actually clear this up a little bit while I'm doing this. So this signal goes through and it feeds into these repeaters, which will then feed into these droppers. And what these droppers do is they throw out an item into these hoppers, and the hoppers feed it all the way from each one of these is connected to the one beside it. So this one connected to this one connected to this one, and so on, and they're all feeding into the middle one here. So all of these ones are feeding to this one, and all of those ones are feeding into this one, and these two center hoppers are feeding into the brewing stand, which feed in the materials. The reason we have them side by side is so that we could have whatever materials we want in these, and this is configured so that I could have 5 items feeding into it, which is currently the biggest length that you could normally have for a potion. But you could obviously extend it or shorten it depending on your purpose. For my purpose, I wanted to make potions of healing and harming. Healing potion only needs 4, but harming needs 5. That's why I have 5. So as you can see, the first item for a potion you need is a nether wart, as you saw in our farm earlier. So nether warts go in the first hopper, or dropper, sorry. Glistering melons go in the second. And in the third one, as you can see, it's empty, but if this was a harming potion, here it would be the fermented spider eye, and this would be the spider eye. And then here you can see it's the glowstone dust, which increases the power of it to the next level. And this is the gunpowder, which makes it a splash potion. So as you can see, it basically throws it out. And then what these repeaters do is it extends the signals, so that this one fires first, this one fires second, this one fires third, fourth, and so on. And over here, this repeater just extends the signal going this way, and same thing on this side. This one fires first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, so that the items are fed into these hoppers in the order that they need to go in. Otherwise, the potion doesn't work in any other order. So that's why they're fed into this in this way. And let me just show you an example. Oh yeah, finally, this chest above is where I put in empty water bottles. They're not really empty, they're filled with water, but they're just water bottles. They're not any potions. And this is where you put in the bottles that need to be fed in to make the potion. So what happens is the hoppers feed in the materials needed to make a potion into this slot here. The empty water bottles are filled into these slots, and once the potion is done, when I click the button again, the bottles that are currently done gets flushed into this chest. New bottles fill up, and then the new materials keep going through. So let me just show you it in action. It's actually pretty nice. So when I click this button, you'll see these bottles disappear one by one, and then you'll see new bottles appear one by one. Then I'll show you inside. So right now, let's look in the chest. There is this much, so one whole row and one on the bottom one. So when I click on this, you see all the bottles remove, and then new bottles go in. And now if you look in here, there's 6 more bottles in here, which means that the 3 from each has gone through. And if I look in here now, as you can see, the nether wart's being fed in, and that once that's added, then the next item automatically takes its place. So glistering melon next. And if you go up here, you could see in the middle chest, you could see everything else waiting in line to go in. So everything that was fed through the chain comes in order that it's supposed to go in, which is the most crucial part. So once all of this is done, all I have to do is press the button again, and it'll repeat again. I could have made this automatic too, so it automatically keeps brewing, but I really don't need that much potions right now, so I don't have any need to make it automatic. Plus, I don't have that many resources right now, so this will keep running out. So later on, I could set up a system that'll automatically feed these, so it can never run out, and then I don't have to worry about being here. But for now, this is all I'm going to do. So I want to start decorating this and making it look a little bit more visually appealing. So I took a look at this, and I think of it as 2 things. I first see this as like, this is the collecting area, and I see this as this area where I could add stuff in. So what I think is we should have them as 2 different rooms, and then cover the rest of it up because we don't need to see it. So let's start with covering up the wiring. I think since the button is here, this would end up becoming a wall, so I could just cover this up. I gotta be careful not to block any or cut off any wires. That's the main thing. Since I'm doing this on camera, I may actually make a mistake. If so, I'd have to go back and fix it. Yeah, so I imagine like coming up here to refill the items. So the water bottles on this side, and then all the items on this side. So everything on this, everything here, beside here, we don't really need to worry about. So I could just put a wall here and block this whole part off so that no mistakes can happen later. Alright, so let me just do it. I'm gonna stop talking this and I'm gonna fast forward through this, but you could see everything I do. So, oh yeah, one last thing. I'm gonna extend this a little bit more this way, this redstone signal, so that I could get a bigger area here. And I'm gonna break. I already emptied the chests, and I'm gonna break this wall down so that it's not that cramped in there. So just have a look at what I'm gonna be doing. Okay guys, so I'm back. I was just taking a look at it, and I was gonna make a staircase coming up this way, but it's a little bit compact and too cramped for me. So what I've decided is I'm gonna probably extend this sideways more, and then this wiring that's coming up could actually act as also our staircase, because we have one more here. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. Also, I want to show you, I have some items here which I want to use to decorate this so it looks kind of nice like that. And I'm going to be adding those in as well. Okay guys, I'm back and I tried to cover as much as possible in the time period, but I just checked and I ran a bit long as well. So I'm going to end it here. So as you can see, it's starting to kind of show the same pattern as I did with the rest of the rooms with the checkered floor. I actually don't have this material right now, so I'm gonna get it later and fill it in the wood. And I really like the way the netherrack really looks on the walls. It gives it a different color and everything, so I'm gonna use that a little bit more, especially here since that's what I've been using all around. There's a bit more that I need to fill out, but I have to be careful watching the wires and everything, so it takes a bit longer. But overall I think it's gonna look so much better after it's done. So I thought I'm gonna end this video here and I'll just show you how it looks when it's finished later on. Just a heads up, I'm gonna put something on top of these hoppers so that things don't fall in by accident and just clog things up, because I know during construction and stuff that happens sometimes, and that way I could have a quick and overview of this area. Also there's nothing much above, so I could expand on the storage side of this later, and when I do I'll let you guys know for sure. So I think for now that's all. Yeah, I think that's all. I think I just want to just cover this up a bit and make it so that only these areas and the chest is accessible up here. And since after I fill this up I barely have to go up, the staircase doesn't have to be too prominent. It could just be in that side, hidden from everything else, and I think that would be pretty decent. That way it's hard to see it and it looks good. I also want to put a lamp here once I make one, so that when I press the button it would light up and show me that I actually did make the action, since I won't be able to see. And you could still see the brewing stand here, so it's going to be easy to see when everything is being made and finished. I might later on add some features so that I could actually see if it's done. Right now it's hard to tell because there's these blocks here. I may have to actually remove one of the blocks so that I could right click this, because if I can't right click it here because I right click this hopper instead. So that might be something I might have to do. But overall I think it's good. And yeah, actually I'm gonna put another lamp here as well, so 2 lamps, one above, one below, so when I click on it it's gonna work. And oops, I think something just happened, you know. Anyway, I'll check into what went wrong. I'm pretty sure it's some block I placed that cut off some sort of wire. Anyway, so yeah, definitely it's gonna be one of those. Oh yeah, that's because I didn't do the cut off for the water right here, so it probably just, yeah, I need to put this wire back. So yeah, see, this filled it with water, and this filled with water. So that's what I was telling you, that's why I needed that timer in the back. So now I actually gave you evidence to why I needed it. So yeah, that timer is there so that the water doesn't go through, and instead it waits for the potions to get flushed before it starts filling in the empty slots. Anyway guys, so the video ran a bit long, but I think that's all, and I'll show you whatever I do in the next episode. So for now, as usual, please remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and check out our other videos, and please share this with your friends. And until next time guys, peace.